Every overpowered weapon in history explained the atlatl. The official story, early humans hunted with spears, but spears can't kill a mammoth. The math doesn't work. A 150-pound human throwing a wooden stick at a 12,000-pound animal? Suicide. Yet mammoths went extinct. Entire species disappeared. Something doesn't add up. The answer was hidden for thousands of years. A simple wooden extension, the atlatl, that tripled throwing force. Suddenly, humans weren't prey anymore. They were the most dangerous thing alive. But wood has limits. Someone discovered metal, and everything changed. The Khopesh Egyptian records say the Khopesh was a ceremonial sword. That's a lie. Archaeologists found mass graves in Canaan, hundreds of bodies. Same wound pattern, skulls hooked open from behind, shields found yards away from their owners. The Khopesh wasn't ceremonial. It was designed to grab your shield, yank it away, and split your skull in one motion. Pharaohs carried them personally, not for show, for something far darker. The war chariot. Here's what historians don't mention. Before chariots, battles had survivors. After chariots, massacres. Infantry couldn't run fast enough to escape, couldn't fight back against archers moving at 25 miles per hour, couldn't do anything but die. The Hittites, the Egyptians, the Assyrians, all built empires on chariot wheels. The pattern is disturbing. Every civilization with chariots expanded. Every civilization without them vanished from history. Coincidence? The evidence says otherwise. Until someone built a weapon specifically to stop them. The Sarissa. Alexander the Great conquered the known world in 13 years. The official explanation: military genius. The hidden detail: an 18-foot spear that nobody could counter. The Sarissa phalanx worked like a meat grinder. 5 spear points faced every enemy. Charging meant impaling yourself. Standing still meant encirclement. Persia had millions of soldiers, professional armies, centuries of experience. Alexander had 40,000 men and geometry. The Persians lost every single battle. Their emperor died running. But long spears have a weakness. Rome found it. The Gladius Roman conquest records are detailed, suspiciously detailed. They document everything, except why the gladius worked so well. Here's what they don't say. While everyone built longer weapons, Rome went shorter. 24 inches. Designed for one thing: stabbing through gaps in formation. Roman soldiers didn't swing. Swinging creates openings. They punched with shields, then stabbed. Assembly line killing. The gladius conquered the known world. 3 continents, 50 million people subjugated. The weapon's design was so effective, Rome classified it. But walls still stopped armies. Rome needed something else. The Claw of Archimedes. Roman military reports from Syracuse contain an anomaly. Ships were lifted from the water and dropped. Entire warships flipped. Historians dismissed this as propaganda for centuries. Then engineers rebuilt it. The Claw of Archimedes worked exactly as described. A crane that grabbed ships and capsized them. Roman soldiers refused to approach Syracuse's walls. They thought it was sorcery. Archimedes was killed when Rome finally took the city, stabbed by a soldier. Official reason: he refused to leave his work. Unofficial suspicion: someone wanted his designs to die with him. We'll never know for certain. The Trebuchet castle walls took decades to build. Entire generations of labor. The trebuchet destroyed them in hours. 300-pound stones, 900-foot range. Consistent accuracy, shot after shot. But here's the disturbing detail. Trebuchets didn't just throw rocks. Siege records mention diseased cattle, burning pitch, and, most disturbingly, the bodies of prisoners launched over walls. Psychological warfare, biological warfare. 800 years before Geneva Conventions existed, the age of fortification ended. Something worse was coming. The English longbow at Agincourt, 6,000 English archers faced 36,000 French knights. The official story: English skill defeated French numbers. The hidden truth: those archers were weapons themselves. Training started at age 7. By adulthood, their skeletons were deformed, spines curved, left arms longer than right, fingers permanently calloused. They weren't soldiers. They were purpose-built killing machines. French casualties: 6,000 dead. 3 dukes, 90 lords, 1,500 knights. English casualties: 400. Centuries of chivalry, ended by peasants with deformed bodies and sticks. But one empire had something no one could counter or explain. Greek fire. Byzantine naval records describe a weapon that burned underwater. For 700 years, historians assumed this was exaggeration. It wasn't. Greek fire was real. It floated. It burned on water. Jumping overboard made it worse. The formula was the most guarded secret in human history. Only 3 people knew it at any time. The punishment for revealing it: death. When Constantinople fell in 1453, the formula vanished completely. Someone destroyed it, deliberately, so enemies couldn't steal it. Who gave that order? No record exists. What was in Greek fire? We still don't know. Some secrets die forever. The bombard cannon. Constantinople's walls had stood for 1,000 years. The official story: Ottoman military brilliance. The hidden detail: a Hungarian engineer named Orban. Orban first offered his cannon to Constantinople. They refused, couldn't afford him, so he walked to the Ottoman Sultan instead. 7 weeks later, those 1,000-year walls were rubble. The Byzantine Empire died. An entire civilization erased because someone couldn't pay an engineer's fee. Orban's fate: he died when one of his cannons exploded. Accident? Or did someone ensure his designs died with him? The pattern repeats. The Minié ball. Before 1849, rifles were specialty weapons. Slow, complicated, rare. One bullet design changed everything. The Minié ball loaded fast, shot accurately to 500 yards, and cost almost nothing to produce. The American Civil War proved the consequences. Generals used old tactics against new technology, ordered charges into rifle fire. 620,000 dead. More Americans than every other war combined. A single bullet design. One inventor's afternoon of work. A generation erased. The Maxim gun. Hiram Maxim asked a simple question: what if one gun fired forever? The answer killed more people than any invention in history. 600 rounds per minute. Water-cooled barrel. Belt-fed ammunition. One finger on the trigger could do what entire regiments couldn't. At the Battle of Omdurman, 50 Maxim guns faced 50,000 Sudanese warriors, brave men, experienced fighters, charging with spears and swords and centuries of warrior tradition. The battle lasted 5 hours. Sudanese dead, 12,000. British dead, 47. A poet wrote, "Whatever happens, we have got / the Maxim gun, and they have not." World War I generals saw these exact numbers. They understood the mathematics perfectly. They had the casualty reports on their desks. Then they sent millions of men charging into Maxim fire anyway. Why? That question has haunted historians for a century. The answer is disturbing. They simply didn't care. The trenches filled with bodies. A generation disappeared into mud. Something had to break the stalemate. The Mark IV tank German soldiers called it the Devil's Chariot. Machine guns couldn't kill it, artillery couldn't stop it. Some units broke and ran, others fired everything and watched bullets bounce off. At Cambrai, 400 tanks gained more ground in hours than infantry gained in 3 years. But here's what reports don't mention. Tank crews died horribly. Heat, fumes, explosions. Survival rates were terrible. The men inside knew they were driving coffins. They drove anyway. The war ended. But mechanical slaughter was just beginning. The AK-47 100 million built, 1 for every 70 humans on Earth. The official story: Soviet engineering triumph, reliable, simple, revolutionary. The hidden pattern: everywhere the AK-47 went, governments fell, revolutions succeeded, borders redrawn in blood. Vietnam, Afghanistan, every African conflict since 1950, South American insurgencies, Middle Eastern wars. The same rifle appears in every photograph. The same curved magazine, the same wooden stock. Mikhail Kalashnikov designed it for reliability. Mud, sand, water, years of neglect. The AK-47 fires anyway. Soldiers have buried them for decades and dug them up still working. Child soldiers operate it because it's simple enough for children. Militias depend on it because it never fails. Governments fear it because there's no way to control its spread. Kalashnikov died in 2013. Before his death, he wrote a letter to the Russian Orthodox Church. He said, "I keep coming back to the same question. If my rifle killed people, does that mean I'm responsible for their deaths?" The church absolved him. History hasn't. The Tsar Bomba, 50 megatons, the largest explosion humans ever created. Read that number again? 50 million tons of TNT equivalent, detonated in a single flash. The Soviets originally designed it at 100 megatons. They scaled down, not for moral reasons. They were worried they'd vaporize their own bomber crew and the aircraft wouldn't escape the blast radius. Even at half power, the results were terrifying. The mushroom cloud reached 40 miles high, 7 times higher than Mount Everest. The flash was visible 600 miles away. Windows shattered in Finland, 900 miles from detonation. The shockwave circled Earth 3 times. The bomb was never meant for combat. It was built to send one message to the world. We can end civilization whenever we choose. The message was received, loud and clear. We still live under that threat today. The case is still open. The weapons keep getting stronger, and no one knows how this story ends. End. The weapons changed, from sticks to atoms. But the pattern never did. Whoever holds the overpowered weapon writes history. Everyone else becomes a case file.